check with Luca Mele music, baby.
That's right. All right. Welcome back to the Luca Mele Show. This is episode 2. I am here with a very special guest. This is the one and only Chris Wyllie.
Hey.
Slow clap. Okay, so I want to get right into the juice. We could talk about how we met, which is through our good buddy, Greg. But I want to get into what you are about because I find you very fascinating. And I'm not just talking about your good looks or your incredible talent with acting and everything else. I want to get into the first, your story, your backstory, and how you got into working as a neuroscientist, basically. You are an expert at brains, human brains. And I don't know how someone wakes up one day and just says, you know what, I want to study brains. But I think you have a story as to what motivated you to get into that.
Yeah.
And you've helped so many people, including myself with our little session we had a few years ago too.
Right. Yeah.
So when did it all start and what motivated you to get into it?
Well, I mean, first off, I got to say, lovely to be in studio here with Luca Mele, my guy. And
thank you, Chris.
Appreciate the kind words, my friend, from a fellow talented, fascinating human being. And, sometimes to build ourselves up as men, we have to be stripped down to ground zero. And often we face our own personal kryptonite and mental difficulties and neurological problems. And that is our massive opportunity in disguise. And for me, I always had a passion to study psychology and the brain. But I had this idea of the kind of career we're supposed to have, which was going to the most prestigious university and being a lawyer or a doctor and going to medical school or law school. But I had this really bad anxiety and panic attacks that would just happen out of control. And I was actually hospitalized in my 3rd year of university.
Sorry, when you say out of control, like you couldn't control like what was happening, like you didn't want it to happen, but your body was still.
Yeah, precisely. That's what you ask anyone who has an anxiety or a panic attack, you're not doing it because you want to, right?
You're not in control.
You step into a test or you step into a social situation, and before you know it, you have this automatic neurological response, and it feels like your heart's pounding out of your chest, you're sweating, your thoughts are racing, and you can't even think or operate, and it feels literally like you're going to have a heart attack. And created all kinds of problems where I lost this severe amount of weight. I was emaciated. When I look back now, I probably had borderline anorexia. And really lost myself, and my sense of body image and everything was really, really bad. And I just hit rock bottom. And I just got absolutely just fed up with suffering and living with this profound anxiety that was happening all the time. And there was only one way I could cope, and that was to try to outwork it.
Okay.
So I would just study for hours upon hours upon hours upon hours. So whether I got hit with a panic attack or not, I could just spew information out from rote.
Right.
But, that only got me so far. And then, the anxiety attacks, the panic attacks, being hospitalized in 3rd year university, that's what was my stimulus to go, okay, I have to do something about this. I have to learn about my brain. I have to heal my brain. And I made a little promise to myself. Right, because I thought I was giving up on the law career. That was one of my dreams. I was like, if I'm going to give up this dream, I'm going to go heal my brain. And then I'm going to go and accomplish even bigger dreams.
Okay. Yes.
Right. So now we're starting it was the last decade and beyond was healing and building the brain. And through that, I just discovered a great passion where it feels really great to help other people, right? Anybody can talk about neuroscience, anybody can talk about neurology, but show me what you can do to actually help children, children with autism, children with ADHD, right? Let's put the intelligence to the chest there and see what you can really do. And that's where a lot of my experience came was being able to work with children with like autism and ADHD. And, I took tests in university and I got very high grades, 4.0 average. But it wasn't until I was actually face to face with an autistic child that I realized, wow, there is so much and so many levels to this beyond what I had no comprehension. You just can't learn this stuff in a book, right? You have to be able to experience it in real life to really see all the variables and how this happens. And then for me, I had the benefit of being a massive geek. So I used EEGs and brain scans where I could test how different interventions that I was doing, how they were changing the brain in real time.
Right.
And led me down this incredible path of not only healing my own brain, but discovering a passion, help other people, and then teaching such a powerful thing where that's a great way to consolidate your learnings is go and teach other people. So that was kind of the first massive chapter of my career. And I've only since, the last few years have I started kind of the next chapter building upon the first, but the first laid the foundation. Yeah.
Well, so how long did that take you to like go from this guy that was having panic attacks to helping other people and working with brains?
Well, it was a pretty seamless, immediate transition. But people always ask me, hey, is it possible to like actually rewire your brain? Can you actually get rid of the anxiety? And how fast and how long did it take?
Right.
Well,
what's your answer to them?
Well, there's an element where it does happen by leaps and bounds,
right?
Where you can rewire the brain quite quickly. And that's where today I do like NLP techniques and different techniques where we can rewire fears and phobias and panic attacks almost instantly in one session. But then there's the element of the long term where as you continue to explore new challenges, you will find new situations that will access and trigger that old neurology. So there, you will find situations that will, you thought you fully rewired your brain. Like I thought I fully rewired my brain until I booked this massive talk in Atlantis, Bahamas at 23. And I was sweating buckets before having full,
Okay.
But I had enough faith and confidence that I knew what I was talking about.
Right.
That I was able to work through it and still perform. But that's where, you can make massive changes initially, but then it is a long-term process of, hundreds and thousands of hours to really fully rewire your neurology.
Yeah. I can imagine.
And the cool part is, I'm a guy, I probably put 50,000 plus hours to rewire my brain. Well, guess what? I was just in LA in a new country and a new challenge and a new adventure. And there were times where I was triggered, my man. There were times where I was tested. I'm going, you know what? This is the universe testing me. And these are the final pieces that I got to overcome to rewire my brain. So I just kind of was able to smile in that knowledge, knowing that the learning and the mastery and rewiring of our own brain, it is an endless journey. But you can definitely take yourself from being out of control and mired and victimized by anxiety and panic attacks. You can get yourself in control and neutralize that to a large degree very quickly.
Okay. So when working with autistic children, what is their brain doing that a non-autistic child's brain is doing? I learned somewhere that, and you'll know for sure, that an autistic's brain is almost like in fight or flight. They're very high stressed, almost like they feel like they're in danger on some subconscious level. There's a threat to them and their peace, whether it's just overstimulation or traumatic events or whatever it may be. What's your take on that? What's the difference?
That was actually a pretty accurate description.
Okay.
Where the autistic brain, one element is that there is chronic sympathetic dominance from neuroimmune stressors that occur during development, which could be trauma during pregnancy, could be trauma after birth, whether that's toxins or heavy metals assaulting the brain. So there is an element we see on the brain scans where there is that hyperexcitability, where there is a lot of fast wave activity, beta, high beta throughout the motor strip, throughout the somatosensory cortex. So because the brain is already overstimulated in terms of its excitatory activity, there's less threshold to then reaching that point of overexcitation. That's why children have a lot of hypersensitivities, and that's why there's a lot of chaotic behavior, because now it's the brain trying to discharge the energy through the body. And that's why with autism, you have to be a lot more meticulous with avoiding inflammatory foods, inflammatory toxins, industrial toxins, EMF toxins, light toxins, because the autistic brain has less room for resilience. Now, there is the other side of autism where there can be cognitive and language and social delays, where there is excessive slow wave activity or not enough differentiation and development in cognitive centers, in prefrontal cortex centers. So they're stuck between a lot of super fast wave activity of hypersympathetic dominance and then a lot of slow wave activity. What we see interestingly on the brain scans is that the autistic brain is notoriously low in those middle range frequencies, like the alpha range and the harmonics of alpha. And that's where, like you said, the lack of peace is coming from. Because the alpha rhythm is basically a rhythm that our brain generates when we're connected to the earth without electrical interference. And it basically turns off cortical processing and allows us to just be calm, focused, present in the moment.
I didn't get that. Can you try again?
Let me explain the alpha frequency, how it works again. So Siri and technology understands. But basically, alpha.
Yeah, she wanted you to repeat that again.
Siri goes, that sounded very sophisticated. Please repeat. It's all being uploaded to AI now. My brain's being made redundant by my own brain. Such is the world. But basically, just to finish the loop on the alpha there, basically there's a part of our brain, we're getting a little geeky here.
I like it.
Called the thalamus. And it's like a sensory gating system. It's kind of like a sensory relay station where all our visual input through our eyes, auditory input through the ears, somatosensory input, tactile input from the skin, it goes to the thalamus and it relays all these signals. Well, the alpha rhythm helps the thalamus to block out excessive signaling. So if you don't have the alpha rhythm, now the brain is bombarded by excessive sensory input.
That's why they try to output it by putting hands over their ears and slamming their head around and other things they do.
Discharging all that extra electrical energy because the brain is doing a poor job at being able to block that incoming sensory input.
Okay, see, I like this.
See, in our brain, we have a balance of green lights and red lights. So green lights is glutamate. It's excitatory. It stimulates thinking, processing, right? But if everything's always green lights and all the neural circuits are firing, it creates chaos, collisions, right? And it can be, it's total chaos, right? Yeah. That's where we need enough red lights to basically block neural signaling so things can be under control. And that's where, whether it's autism, anxiety, speech disorders, ADHD, you name the neurological problem, it's because the brain has an imbalance of excitation and inhibition. It doesn't have the proper balance of green lights and red lights. And it's my job, working with a client, to orchestrate that perfect balance of neurosignaling and red lights so that way you get optimal cognition.
Okay, optimal cognition. So what's the brain wave that humans are in for the first 7-8 years of their life?
Great question.
Is that the beta one? Or?
Well, it's a lot of theta waves, slower waves. Okay. So the brain develops back to front and right to left. So the non-dominant hemisphere, the one that controls musical abilities, rhythm, rhyme, memory, develops first.
Okay.
And it produces more in that theta range, which is why children are like sponge, because theta promotes unconscious absorption.
Yeah, big time.
And theta is also the natural resonance of our limbic, our emotional, and our memory centers,
Mm-hmm.
like the amygdala, like the hippocampus. So the theta rhythm's really important for the encoding of information and memory.
Got it.
And the reason why most people have such poor memory today is because they're overstimulated, overstressed. There's too much fast wave activity. And you have all this information in flux. It's almost like you got hundreds of different files open on a computer, but you're not actually saving any individual one. So that way, when you go back on the computer and you look for the information, you didn't save the file, so therefore it isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So restoring that theta rhythm is very, very important for fixing memory.
Mm-hmm. So
theta is the short answer to that question.
Okay. And what happened? What's the next brainwave you kind of mostly go into after that?
Yeah. Well, as age continues, then the left hemisphere starts developing. And that is the dominant hemisphere that controls language, linear thinking, rational thinking, abstract thinking, right? So the non-dominant hemisphere, the right hemisphere, it sees things holistically, right? It sees the entire force and it just processes it all. Even if you can't understand it, even if you can't describe it, you can look and feel something about, wow, that's a majestic forest. Or, oh, I like that. Right? Now the left hemisphere starts developing. Now it's got to start analyzing, describing things.
Right.
So now it's got to like zero in on specific parts of the tree and to start describing like the pine needles or the bark or the chipmunks that keep running back and forth like squirrels. They're kind of like human beings,
Fingers and hands.
So then the left hemisphere starts developing. You get more fast wave beta waves in through the frontal lobes.
Amazing. So theta into beta.
Yeah. And then the alpha rhythm starts developing. The alpha rhythm is really important in the posterior parts of the brain, like the occipital lobes, plays a big role in visual processing.
And does this happen at the same time as the beta?
Well, I mean, this is happening throughout the first 27 years of our life.
Okay.
Right.
What do you mean? What happens after 27?
Well, basically, I mean, it's the current model that our frontal lobes, our most kind of evolved sense of self, kind of the seat of conscious awareness, that they don't finish myelinating until we're 25 to 27 years old.
I heard about the 25 age.
Yeah.
The 25 to 27, that's a more broader spectrum. I like that. Yeah.
I think that's why they don't allow people to rent cars or get insurance for cars till after like 25. So they'll let them go fight in the military and risk dying, but you can't rent a car, kid.
No. Ruin our policies here.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. So how long has it been since your last panic attack, I guess?
A full-blown panic attack?
Yeah,
I mean, that would be, that would be the one that hospitalized me.
Yeah.
And ever since I made that decision to go on my journey to heal and rewire the brain, no panic attacks. There's still been kind of like lingering anxiety and stuff to rewire, but progressively taking more and more control of my brain.
It's good to feel anxiety sometimes. I feel like if you don't have any reaction to reality, you're not much of a soul, a human being. So it's good to feel some kind of excitement, whether it's especially if you're unfamiliar with a certain experience. You may have experience talking to, 20, 30 people, 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, but then you got to go speak to 50,000 people or 2,000 people or whatever it may be. That detail is a subconscious thing that might trigger some anxiety and some, because even me, like I've always performed in front of people, but then you put me on a stage where I'm just a few feet higher. And right before I go on, sometimes I still get the shakes and my body's like I can't control it. And the minute I open my mouth to start singing, shakes are gone. I'm back in my zone again. Like my body's like, okay, this feels familiar again. I'm used to doing this. But that unfamiliar thing, like what's going to happen when I step out there? I don't know what's going to happen. And sometimes that not knowing can really get to us. Sometimes not. Depends on the exact situation. But to not feel anything, that's scary. To know you could still feel something and not be pulled into like a full blown panic attack, I feel like that's something, right? It's good.
Well, think of how boring life would be if we didn't feel nerves.
Yeah. Nerves,
right?
exactly. Nervous,
Right.
nerves.
And you mentioned a
Excitement.
key word, familiar,
Mm-hmm.
right? A major source of anxiety is the unknown
Right.
for most people. And the thing is, the antidote to that is to develop more skills and competence
Mm-hmm.
where you go, okay, I know this is going to be a nerve-wracking situation. This is something I've never done before. So therefore, there's going to be an element of adrenaline. There's going to be excitement. There's going to be nerves.
Yeah.
But I know I can also have the nerves, have the uncertainty, but also have the certainty in the fact that I know what I can do
Mm-hmm.
when I step in that situation.
Yes, yes.
Because I spent thousands and thousands of hours developing these skills, and I don't even need to think about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel
Right?
too.
So,
And that's similar to what a friend told me once. Usually we tour together, and he wasn't there that night, and I was across the country. And he said something similar, like you've been ready your whole life for this. You've been preparing your whole life for this moment right here. It's no different than anything else. Go there and be who you're meant to be,
that's right.
and be in that,
Yeah.
in your element, you know.
And here's where the magical sauce comes in, is because, I do the brain scans and excitement, anxiety. I've even tested sexual arousal. I've tested some weird stuff.
How do you test that? Okay, we'll get into that. Hold on.
Yeah,
What's next?
I've just.
I need to know.
I was doing a little special testing, and it was a special request. Anyhow, so I did test it. It was professionally done. But they all basically look same at the neurological level.
Mhm.
They're all an increase in arousal. And here's the thing, there's an elevated level of arousal improves performance.
Okay.
It's just the main distinguisher with anxiety is that arousal reaches such a level where it inhibits and impairs our performance and well-being.
Yes. Okay.
So the magic lies in developing enough control over your frontal lobes, which modulates the amygdala activity, where you can consciously just dial up or dial down the nerves just the slightest, so that way you can ride those emotional waves and be able to access that peak performance in that moment. So you can use all that energy, that adrenaline, and use it to activate your very best, as opposed to shutting down or being overwhelmed with anxiety.
Chris Wyllie, the mind hacker. Look at this. You got the cheat codes for the brains.
Well, I mean, I did a show. They called me the mind bender.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but I'm like hackers because you're getting right in there.
Yeah,
and you're teaching us how to rewire.
Dude, we
brains,
we
our
more
minds.
than hack. We optimize.
Optimize. That's right.
Yeah, we're not hacking a Nissan Sentra. We're turning that frame into a nice, beautiful Formula One race car.
That's right. I like that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Speaking of beautiful things
Mm-hmm.
and the nice life and everything, I've admired a lot of your acting you've done, and I feel like your future is going to be long and huge with acting. And I have to say, like, you guys have no idea how special this episode actually is. For this guy to make time for me right now is very rare. Who knows when I'll get him in the same room with me again, because anything can happen with this guy. Let's talk about the new show you were just telling me about.
Oh, you can't say. Don't say. You can't say yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I can't say it yet, but it will be on CBS
In Global. Yeah.
In Global. Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, it's just, we're talking about, okay, rewiring the brain. We're talking about nerves and feeling alive.
Yes.
Right. And I think the enemy, the worst thing for the human brain, is boredom and monotony. And we owe it to ourselves, to go out and continue to find new and bigger challenges, new and bigger mountains to climb.
Yep. One of them for me is going home and looking up a lot of words that you've mentioned in this interview.
Well, my friend, let me say, I've been very impressed with your articulation of both autism and anxiety.
Well, there's a lot of experience in my life with these people, and
right.
I like to know as much as I can. And I think knowledge, you need patience to have knowledge, but knowledge also gives you patience, and patience gives you the ability to see a different perspective before acting and making any improvements or adjustments you need to do in your life or any other life. Sometimes we act on emotions and we want to say this to someone or do this for someone when really we should sometimes step back and see what's really going on with them.
Yeah.
And because when you approach someone, you could make or break them because you don't know what they're going through, especially someone that might be on the spectrum or having problems with anxiety or something like that. You don't want to push anyone over the edge, but you want to create a safe bridge for them to come into a more optimized life.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you probably know, you've talked to a lot of people and you could tell them A, B, and C, but sometimes telling them directly isn't as good as warming up to who they are and learning about them so you can properly place that information in their brain so they actually keep it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and that's where people say you can't make the horse drink. Well, a horse, if it wants to stay alive, is going to drink, and intuitively it's going to drink. But everyone's going to have a different style and way of drinking.
Absolutely.
Right? Some people, they just want the bottle and they just want to chug that water down right away. Right? Some people, they need to sip it more slowly. And like you said, you never know what someone's going through. Right? And that's where, especially as men, we can have our sense of bravado, our sense of competence and confidence where we're going to go out and we're going to conquer our dreams and our goals and nothing's going to stop us. And there's an element of that energy fueled by testosterone. But then the other side of that needs developing is the sensitivity, the awareness, the ability to be empathetic. And that's the essence of rapport, is being able to meet people in their mental model of reality. To be able to go into their world and connect and to truly understand. And I think that's something that's really beautiful through the work with the autistic children and people with anxiety and these different conditions, is I've been able to see all the different colors and shades of mental models of neurology. And it gives, you know, me and any, you know, person like yourself who's very aware, it gives you a greater appreciation for the moment, for the opportunities we have, and realize how precious life is. And also, you know, it activates the heart, right? We want to, you know, help people. And I always like to help the underdog, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's enough people out there talking and talking and talking and talking away. If you can show a little heart, show a little grace, show a little empathy, and go a long way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It builds big character. Speaking of big character, Hollywood, LA, how's that been for you?
It's been everything, man.
It's been everything.
It's been.
It looks great. Everything you're posting online, all the gigs you're getting. You want to talk more about that?
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
I know there's a lot of stuff you can't mention, but there's stuff you can mention.
Well, people see the success. They see, hey, you know, I'm Chris Wyllie. I climbed to this top of this mountain, and nothing stopped me on this climb. But man, they don't see how hard the climb was, how stressful the climb was, right? You know, we were talking about those Airbnbs and rental cars. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They almost broke me there. But you know what? There were moments there where I felt uncomfortable. And I said, you know what? I feel uncomfortable right now. You know what that means? It means I'm doing exactly the right thing.
There you go.
Keep on going.
You're chasing your dreams, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've done cool stuff. I mean, I like to do cool stuff for the little kid inside me and to inspire kids.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I got to play Thor in this last commercial.
Ooh.
That's going to be popping everywhere, you know, and
yes,
I got to play, you know, Hulk Hogan. I got to play this Viking hero in this History Channel's new show called History's Greatest Warriors. I just filmed a commercial. It worked out great in Mexico.
Oh, you were in Mexico too?
Yeah, for this big Finnish North American commercial.
Okay.
And it worked out beautifully because they flew me home for the holidays here.
Nice.
So my mom was happy about that.
Absolutely. And that's how I got lucky to squeeze you in here before you take off again.
Well, I was honored to come to Luca Mele.
The Luca Mele show.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting, like we were talking about before, there's a lot of similarities between a musician chasing their dream, even a comedian and an actor. You have to live away from home, away from where you're comfortable with. And you don't always have paying gigs for every day you're out there away from home. So you have to find ways to survive. You're running out of money. You're staying at Airbnbs, hotels. My experience, same thing. Like I got stranded in Europe once.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. A lot of people don't know all the details, but what just happened? One of the cameras die?
The main one.
Oh, okay. We got two more. So it's very, very similar when you're chasing your dreams, and there's like a hunger behind that, knowing that you're getting there. You know you're getting there. You're getting everything you ever dreamed of, but you're not quite 100% there yet. And that feeling is just so inspiring. And it just, because sometimes, and I'm sure you've experienced this with other things in life you've accomplished. Once you accomplish certain things, that feeling of getting there is no longer there anymore. It's gone. You could chase something else and get that feeling again, but there's certain things, once you accomplish certain things, that journey to get there, that feeling of what it's like to get to that destination, you only get it once, and then it's gone. So it's very like crucial to feel everything and be in the moment and appreciate every moment, the struggles, the good, the bad, all of it, because one day it's not going to be all bad and it's going to be all good all the time.
And you might get bored with that.
And you might get bored with that too. So it's good to always keep new things open, which I want to ask you, and this would probably be how we'll close with this, is what made you chase, because you went from wanting to be a lawyer, right, to being an actor. And in between, you were healing yourself and helping others with...
And inadvertently became a neuroscientist, and now my brain scans are being, in my process, is being used by companies, and they're using that to market their products, to show how their products change the brain, and working with tons of children.
It's incredible.
You know, and
so what sparked this, you know what, I want to chase acting. Like, have you always had a thing for acting inside you?
Yeah.
And the lawyer thing too? The lawyer was more like, you know, this is
the deal.
More secure.
This is the answer. Growing up, I just loved this movie called The Firm with Tom Cruise.
Ooh.
And he played a lawyer. And it was so action-packed, and there was the sleazy law firm, and he had to go take it down.
Yeah.
And you see, I watched that movie, and I thought I wanted to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
But I was wrong. I wanted to be Tom Cruise.
Yes.
That's it.
I love it.
That's it.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. If you could tell the world a message that would be maybe timeless, inspiring, make someone smile or think, you made a lot of people think already, or even laugh, what would it be? What would you tell the world through the Luca Mele show?
So I got to make them laugh. I got to inspire them. I got to motivate them. I got to do all this in one.
Well, or even one. Okay. You don't have to do all of it.
I think everybody wants to talk about all these external factors, what you eat, the environment you're in, the supplements you're taking, this hack, that hack. The most powerful way to control your neurochemistry, moment to moment, is how you think.
Right.
And our thoughts, moment to moment, are blueprints that tell our brain and body where to go. And if you can just start believing and knowing that you have the power inside you, that you got hundreds of billions of neurons, and that there's magic inside you, and you just become absolutely dead set that you're going to express that magic. Brains are not meant to be perfected. No. Perfection's an illusion. Brains are meant to be directed. And as long as you start to become clearer, not on who you're not and what you don't have, become clearer on the human being you want to be, and you just keep taking relentless action every single day towards it, you will become that human being, and you will amaze yourself with just how powerful, how incredible you can become. And not all superheroes wear capes.
Oh.
Some of them are nurses, some of them are doctors, some of them are child service, care people. Some people are just moms or dads. Some people are famous musicians that host podcasts.
Some of them are you, man. I think you are a hero to a lot of people. You've inspired a lot of kids, and your message is clear today. We have to be in control of our own mind.
That's
and
right.
We set the course, and we can't let anything stop us besides the good red lights and green lights in our brain.
Yeah.
Follow up on that. That's the only stopping we need. Okay, so other than that, I hope to have our mutual friend here soon, Greg, and maybe one day we could all get together and do a podcast, sitting all together and talk about everything else. But man, I'm so excited for everything you got going on, and you've helped me a lot. I was gonna bring up a story of when we worked together, but it's kind of embarrassing for me, so I'm not gonna. But you kind of touched up on a lot of things, because in that experience, I did have a panic attack, and you were trying to calm me down on set that one day, and the way you explain things.
Chamber.
Yes.
Enclosed spaces, claustrophobia.
My goal is to overcome that.
Okay.
And to be able to be in control of my own mind, like I was just saying. So something I know is safe. Even in that moment back then, a few years ago, I knew it was safe. Nothing bad was going to happen to me, but I still didn't have the control over my mind.
That's right.
And I think that's a goal we should all strive for, to always have control, because you never know when shit's going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
It's better to be calm and in control in any situation, good or bad.
What's a skill that will generalize?
Yeah.
It's a skill that when you can control your nerves, like we said, we can bring that anxiety and that nerves down just a little bit. Mm-hmm. Not that so the fear is gone or the nerves are gone, but that you can still function through it.
Yeah.
That's when the magic can start to happen.
Absolutely. Okay, Chris, thank you for being on the Luca Mele Show. If there's anything else you could say right now, if not, then I look forward to everything you got going on, man.
Brother, it's been an absolute pleasure. I appreciate all the kind words. We're all works in progress.
Absolutely.
We just do our best to live life on our own terms, to build the brain that we want, the body that we want, and then ultimately the life that we want. And everyone watching this, I want you to know you have the power, the brain power.
That's right. Thank you for watching this episode of the Luca Mele Show. Make sure to subscribe, like, leave comments, share to all your friends, share to your enemies too. They could learn something. God bless everyone. Thank you.
Well said, brother.